Samducksa came out with a new lever called the Shinsun 2D 3D lever, designed cooperatively with Shinsun, who is about as famous as a King of Fighters streamer can get. It was designed to be an introduction to Korean levers, or K-levers, for people who play on Japanese equipment. If you've ever typed arcade stick into Amazon.com, then you know who Mayflash is and their Universal series of sticks. They are very decent for the price. They are very easy to work with. They're very easy to mod, and they're very easy to use with almost everything that you can play games on. Here's a little picture of the fan. Now, a lot of people like to get the F500 Elite, which comes all with stock Sanwa parts. I think that's fine if that's what you like. I think that's fine for a lot of fighting game players. Shmup players tend to not prefer Sanwa parts. So for Japanese levers, it's a 30 millimeter hole. For Korean levers, it's a 35 millimeter hole. So it's not an easy drop-in, drop-out solution for most sticks in the market in most of the West. If you wanted to even just try a Korean lever, you have to mod your case with one of these things. Saimitsu and Sanwa sticks use spring resistance. For Korean levers, we use grommets, these little guys. We'll go more into detail about what the advantages and disadvantages are, but it's a very different feel. I believe that modding the Mayflash Universal Stick with the Shinsun 2D lever is the most cost-effective way to get into Korean levers. Why are so many gamers looking at K-levers? Well, if you haven't noticed, Korean stuff is having a moment. in the description. Right out of the box, the tension felt a little off, a little too loose, a little whack. But when I bought the stick, I bought some extra grommets so that I could experiment with different tensions. One of the things that really appealed to me about getting into the Korean levers was the ease and access with which you can experiment with different tensions by getting different colored grommets that look like candy. One of the things I love the most about arcade sticks is the ability to customize and to dial in every component and really build your own connection with the machine. If the game was your lover, this is where you touch. It's not just the sensuous component from your point of view, but it's also how you're doing your communication. Now, you may be a rough and rude communicator who likes to get their point across, and maybe that requires more tension on the stick to be able to handle that. Or maybe you prefer to be more precise and delicate, in which case you're going to look for more tactile feel and maybe less pushback. We're all going to communicate in different ways, and in that regard, there's no one-size-fits-all option for anybody. But the one thing that we all desire is going to be the accuracy and clarity with which we get our point across, which with we get our intentions across. We want to make sure that there is no doubt that the point of failure is within us and not with our tools, be it words or be it an arcade stick.
Oh wow.
Plus, it's just fun. Modding sticks has become one of my favorite parts of the hobby. It's really become a hobby unto itself. When I first started, I was tense and worried and had no idea what I was doing and thought I was going to break all this expensive stuff I just bought. And now, after doing it a lot and practicing, I find it incredibly relaxing. And I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm a lot less worried about breaking everything. And in this current era that we're in, where we're watching everything go from tactile and physical to vague and digital. We're not even sure if we own these games anymore. And in a broader sense, I see all gamers struggling with their place in the hobby. Either they don't feel represented on the screen in a literal sense, or they wonder if they're even the audience for these things anymore. Either way you look at it, we're just leaves hoping the wind blows us to some place that we'll enjoy. The very idea of a gamer giving up the control over their own destiny is ridiculous on its face. And I think that having a physical, literal point of control that you can pour yourself into is something that can ground you and make real and give substance to your relationship to this hobby and this part of your life.
I think one of the things I noticed immediately starting playing is how much better it feels in a game than it does just raw messing with the stick and like trying it. It feels so much better in the game, and I think it's because you have the audio visual feedback, or you have the feedback of the game itself, and you see. You sort of understand how it actually works. Like, I think if you don't know what's how it's going to play, it's harder to tell if it feels good. And it definitely did not feel good. It felt loose, it felt peculiar, and what I think is happening is, coming from whatever sticks that I'm accustomed to, is the Shinsun has a very small, I guess, like, activation point between like neutral and activating a switch is very tight. It's probably the smallest I've ever played. And yet the dead zone, which would be, I usually think of that as the dead zone, but I think technically the dead zone is everything from activation to the gate. Right, so that section is what's generally called the dead zone, and that is huge. And I think when you're goofing around with the stick, you kind of push it out to the dead zone, and the feeling from the point of activation to the dead zone, like here to there, feels like you're stirring like a bowl of thick oatmeal. And it's no good. But when you're actually playing, in the game, it feels so tight, and it's kind of interesting how loose it feels, like dry, I guess. And then how actually tight and precise it feels when playing. So I'm already super impressed, and wondering if it was necessary to go to the bigger grommets like I did. It does feel really nice, but now I'm kind of thinking about almost working my way the other way, going from like heavy to light and seeing how that feels. Probably not in this video. I've been making this one long enough. Here, I think doing like tiny motions is really the name of the game here. This is a nice little I talk too much. Well, I think it's important to review sticks, particularly from a shmup point of view, is that the things that we want, the common motions are very different, and kind of like what we're looking for. What trade-offs we would make if there were any are going to be very different. And I think that, this is with small press down. Look how stupid that motion, that's so tiny. That's such a tiny, that's a really nice, you really don't have to move much. You don't want to move, ideally you're not moving any bigger than your hitbox. You're moving one hitbox at a time. And, one bullet hitbox interaction measurement is really what you want to move consistently and accurately. you know, and then you get confidence to go into like kind of go into the patterns a little bit more. Like the mix box, I don't really like my hands cramp too much with that. So being able to do these really tiny motions and feel accurate in like a Toho style, in that Toho style, where I think that's really kind of what they want to be doing. Boobies. God. Jesus Christ. Oh! Yeah, this is like Korean synergy. This feels great. Yeah, I much prefer this than to be playing with the little keys with the keyboard, the keycaps. This is so much more comfortable. All right, so that's Shikhondo. Long and short, I think what a shmup player looking for in small accurate taps, journey left to right, look down, is awesome. It's A plus. You can get used to doing anything with your stick. Well, actually, I feel like because the activation point is so small, the resistance feels so consistent throughout. It's up there. It might be if my Samducksa sticks were like a 9 out of 10, this would be a 10 out of 10. I think they're both great, but I prefer this. The return to neutral is so fast and consistent, and that's what makes it really nice. The little taps. Let's see if I can do it like this. You can zoom in, but it's like. That's probably not super helpful. I don't know how good this camera is to that camera. So that's. Did I stop it? That's Shikhondo. All right. So for the next motion that I want to do. I think fighting game players end up riding the gate around more. So they're kind of like at the end here a lot more than strictly from where a shmup player is mostly neutral to a direction, and is rarely going around the gate as such. This is more like how fast can you get to from a neutral to any position back to a neutral and do it again in eight different directions. I think one of the best tests for that would be Pocky and Rocky. You're stationary when you're firing. Sometimes you want to change your direction from your position. You want to change your fire pattern, but you don't want to step in that direction. From a standing position, can you turn to any direction? Can you hit any 8-way direction without moving in that direction as well? Can you get there fast enough, and will the feedback happen in your mind quickly fast enough that it's just a quick tap in that direction that you're basically stationary in those positions? I think this is a good game to test with. Oh, look at shit. I can't even get the menu right, so I'm not good at this game. I'm not good at this game at all. I failed on the menu screen. This game is very difficult. So one thing with this stick that I've noticed personally is that from where my hand rests, is that going from neutral to upright or to northwest. No, northeast. Oh, you gotta hit these guys with the thing. I should just start the stage earlier. Going from like this, like where my hand is going to the northeast position, upright. Hitting that diagonal is the hardest direction for me to hit. It's the most resistance and my weakest. It's my least strength motion, and so it has the most resistance. So I find that I mess it up a lot. I can like forward right. I kind of need to use my arm to do it. You know, and this is probably the most resistance I have on a stick, like actually. And that could be an issue. And I think like there's a lot of balancing to do when you're dollying and everything. I think it's important to think about literally everything you're doing, as opposed to just like a general feel. I think it's important to think about every motion that you're doing and trying to, like, at least at times, to be conscious of what the technical aspect of it is. Like how fast it goes, it gets back to neutral is one of the best. So you want to still have a strong motion. I'm starting to find that I need to put my arm into it a little bit to really hit that. That's the downside of this. That's the downside of this stick. Although I am thinking about if I can get it on an angle, if I get the stick on an angle like this will be a lot easier. I have a different case. I may end up putting this in a different case at the same strength, because I really like the way it feels for most of it. Or I'm gonna start lowering the resistance and see how that works. Not in this video. All right, that's Pocky and Rocky. So the next one on the demo is Rolling Gunner. You want to be able to move your weapon around. You don't have to move any more past that than to change your rolling gun. Let's give that a shot. I'm not great at this game at all. Filthy casual mode. I bought this game pretty early, and I did not appreciate it right away. I was not a fan right away. It did not grab me, and then for whatever reason, I decided to play it again. I was like, oh, let me give this one a shot, and oh my god, it takes a little bit to appreciate it, but this is probably one of the best shmups ever made. Just a nice casual stroll in the park. So being able to move the gun quickly feels very good with this. Yeah, I think because the game allows for more than 8-way, it's a little bit of getting used to. I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure if the ships move the gun any faster. I got clips. I'm talking. Jesus Christ. Yeah. And that is why you will never see me on Twitch. Yes, and so overall, I think that the motion feels really good. When I start getting into Rolling Gunner, I'll probably will use this stick. Great fit for that, I think. For one reason or another, we play games that aren't shmups, right? So I think that, to consider the value of the stick, it's good to look at it in the whole. Let's get it on now. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Actually, funny, a little tight. I think I don't know. Yeah, I used to play this on. I used to play this on Xbox. Was it Xbox One? Xbox Live, and I had this big Pelican stick from GameStop that had like a hap. Had a hap stick. So this feels really good and familiar to me. Everything feels good. I think with fighting games, it's important that you don't want to obviously you don't want to mash, and it's not just mashing in the game. I think a lot of times you mash because you don't have confidence in your input, and so it kind of like, if it doesn't come out the way you expect it to, you keep hitting the button, waiting for it to respond the way you want it to. feels pretty good. It feels very accurate. It feels very precise. You definitely don't need to. You know, you wouldn't need like you'd be able to use this for every for fighting games as well. That would be a good stick for fighting games as well.
Awesome. A+, a 9 out of 10.
I'm a score chaser. Doesn't matter if it's shmups, bups, flops, crups, or dups. If your game's got a score, oh, I'll chase it. While the other boys were chasing skirts, I was chasing scores. Perhaps I'm chasing after something in my dark, mysterious past, but I'll leave that for the head shrinkers to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out my next big score. My name? Detective Nunya. Nunya Business, that's my name.
Excuse me, sir. You're not allowed to sit out here and smoke cigarettes if you haven't purchased anything.
I purchased this hat.
Now, where was I? Oh, my story. I bet you think it's about chasing scores, huh? Well, it ain't. This story is about a score that chased me.
Orphans, smile and be happy, for God has blessed us with a new teacher.
Oh.